Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. So, who do we have here? Alexander Ord is here, says hi, Marin. Hello, Alexander. And then we have Stephen Lowe here. Hello, Marin. Steve Mail 42, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. I just got home from work and saw your live. Yeah, I just decided to have a live versus the other nights that I have it dead. Alexander, do please include your age, gender, where you're tuning in from. I mean, I have no doubt about your gender, but your age and where you're tuning from. Is it UK, is it? Mohammed Ansari is here. And Lukas Kowalski says, hello, Mehran. Lucas, male 35. Thank you for that. And that's Poland. Thank you again. I appreciate that. And in order to support the channel, from now on Friday nights, I will have a super chat only discussion because we need to advertise. Otherwise, we are not picked up by most YouTube enthusiasts. We need to advertise. And for advertise, we need budget. So from now on, Friday nights, it's going to be super chat nights. So all questions will be answered with the support of super chat. I'm sorry I have to do that because there's no way around it. This channel is very valuable. It helps thousands of people around the world. But if we don't have money, we don't have ability to support this channel and to reach more people around the world and help more people. So let's see what we have here. Alexander, do you remember my explanation? Because you said that in my explanation gives you strong belief. So I wonder if you remember, if you're talking about a particular explanation that I've already done about that topic, or you're just talking in general. If you do remember what my explanation was, remind me, because I come and I say on the spur of the moment what I say. It's not rehearsed or a certain formula. Tonight, my answer could be just as good, but it could be different. So I want to know if you remember my previous address that I could maybe use the same line and similar. How to change negative thinking and negative emotions and start to think positive and positive feelings. Dr. Joe Dispenza Val? What is Val? It breaks the habit of being yourself. I have listened lots of videos, but your explanation gave me strong belief. All right. I don't remember what my explanation was, but if you can, remind me. So My answer tonight may be different than the answer I gave the other day, which you seem to think I have. But here it is. How to change negative thinking. Well, negative thinking is influenced by the function of amygdala, which is based on fear and producing negative scenarios of a possibilities, not because it is how that's going to turn out. It's because it knows you don't want it to be turned out that way. So it makes it far-fetched and brings negativity to that what it is you could be thinking, in order to alarm you and alert you to watch out, not to allow this negative consequence or negative end result to happen. So when you have a negative thinking, it's not that you actually want something negative to happen. It's amygdala trying to bring to your attention that this, what negative is, negative result ending is something you don't want. And because you don't want, I'm going to put this emotional danger signal in you, so you become alert and aware, so you won't let it to end up like this negative example that I'm thinking. Which means when that happens, what is happening automatically is comparing what it was to what it is to what it could be. So it creates time, what it was to what it is. In your psyche, you created time, which means you weren't in the present moment. In order to create this negative thinking, you have to be separating yourself from present moment. You got to go into the past, into the memory, past, and past is dead. So you're now bringing something from the death of the past, comparing to how something was, which it's not that how it was again, because it was in the past and the past is dead. So that what you're actually trying to compare what it is now with is non-existence. But you've separated yourself from the present moment. You've gone to the past, comparing to how it was there in the memory to what it is now and what it could be again, which is separating yourself from the present, going to the future, that how it could be then. So what it was to what it is and what it could be. You create fear in order to fuel yourself or promote yourself not to allow something negative to happen. You start thinking negatively. That's the amygdala's job, to put fear into your heart by creating some negativity, something opposite of what you want to happen, so you become alert and not let something of that nature to happen, because it knows that this is not your nature. This is not what you prefer. So the key for thinking positive, or at least the key for not thinking negative, is not to separate from the present moment. In other words, don't go into the memory. Don't try to bring any example of how something was in the memory in the past. And don't be worried about if that what it was in the past and how it was, which was pleasant perhaps, that's why you're using it as an example point. Bringing it in here and hoping that this same result would be something that would also caress you or touch you in the future. In other words, same outcome as it was to be in the future, or an outcome that was negative in the past, you pick that up and worry about it if that's going to be how it's going to be in the future as well. All because you have separated yourself from the actuality of life, which is the now. So when you're not looking at things with the eye of the now, with the focus of the now, and you bring things from the past, the eye of the past, and you compare it to how it's going to be in the future, eye of the future. So you leave the eye of the now, you go into the eye of the past, and you compare it to how it could be in the future, all negative, to alarm yourself just so that this wouldn't happen in the present moment. It's not going to happen anyhow, because if you're in the present moment, there's nothing to compare, nothing to be afraid, nothing bad that has happened once would be in your mind that it is possible to happen again, because you're focusing on what it is that you should be taking care of or accomplishing in the present moment. And in the present moment, no other time exists. No past that is dead, no future that hasn't arrived. So there will be no fictitious emotional dangers to worry about, neither how it happened in the past that was negative, nor how it possibly could happen in the past it would be fiasco and a disaster. This is what the negativity is doing by creating something that it was and creating something that it could be, all negative. So you would be making sure that you would not allow those negativities to influence the present. So in the present time, you would not end up bringing a negative result. By creating the fear, reminding of the fear of the past, or how some things went wrong, and making you worry about what if it happens again in the future. Only so that you will not allow such results happen into the very present moment that you're trying to accomplish something. So all you really have to do is, instead of putting fear into your heart and thinking negative to protect yourself, just focus on the present moment. Don't go anywhere. Focus on what you're doing, what you should be doing, how you should be doing it, and the best you can be doing it. Then there would be no need to bring the fear of the past or the possibility of the disaster of the future. So you'd be focused and not allow any of these to happen in the future or the present moment. And negative emotions. Well, negative emotions come from thought. Change your thought, change your emotions. Change your thoughts, change your feelings. So feelings comes from thoughts in most cases. There are some that the feeling comes before thoughts, like you punch yourself with something sharp into your arm. Wow, this feeling, I wasn't thinking about it. Or you hit your arm to the, edge of the door. Ouch, that feeling of pain. But feeling negatively, change your thoughts, your feeling will change and you won't be negative. And start thinking positive and positive feelings. Okay. So I wonder if that was helpful to you, and it was in line of one of the examples that I may have given you before. Alexander, male 34, Macedonia. Thank you for that. So now let's go to Sandra Sasikumar. Sandra Sasikumar. We go to her because we seldom these days have a lady on the live stream. So why don't we treat her special and bring her in for her question. Sandra says, hi, I'm Sandra with an H after D, Sandra. Can HOCD bring pleasure to your thoughts and then feel bad about it? Yeah, but that pleasure that you're feeling is a pleasure thought that is created by the HOCD, by the OCD brain. See, you can't say I have an OCD brain because OCD is happening in my brain, and in this case, HOCD. But then the thought that tells me that you like the HOCD, that's my own thoughts. That's also OCD thoughts. That's also intrusive thoughts. That's also the malfunctioning thoughts. So with a malfunctioning gadget, you're judging the malfunction suggestion. If the suggestion is the result of malfunctioning brain, the comment that it makes about its malfunctioning results is also by the malfunctioning brain. So what you think you like is also the malfunctioning brain suggestion. It's not your thought that you say, oh, I like it. It's again the brain, the broken brain, malfunctioning brain telling you that you like it, just as the malfunctioning brain is creating the HOCD thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and it makes its comments about it that you like it. It's all brain. None of them is you. Because to begin with, you're a heterosexual. And the intrusive thought is being produced by the malfunctioning brain, overactiveness of amygdala, trying to protect you, trying to help you by creating these intrusive thoughts to alarm you to watch for it, but yet it overactives it and makes it as if it's something that you believe in, while it's only the brain that is creating this. And with the same brain, it's making judgment about your feelings about what it has suggested, which is pretty stupid. It's like you have a broken gadget, and with the same broken gadget, you want to calibrate the engine. And when it comes the result, it reads the gadget, the broken gadget is reading the result of the calibration. You're going to accept that calibration. Well, it's a broken gadget. So its calibration is also going to be false. If you know the gadget is broken, if you use it on a different part of the machine to say, well, on this part is going to function well, it's wrong. It's still going to function broken. So you don't use the same gadget that is broken to calibrate the machine when you know the gadget is already suggesting wrong results because it's broken. So, and then she says, and then feel bad about it. Yeah, you feel bad about it because that's you. That is real you that feels bad about it because you never wanted it. You didn't prefer it. It was the brain suggesting that you like it. It's not you that you're suggesting you like it. And because you're hearing it and you believe that it is something that you actually came up with, not the brain, because you haven't understood that you're not the brain, brain is not you, and what the suggestion is coming is not from you, it's from the brain. But once you realize it, you make that judgment. In other words, the brain suggests that you made that judgment, then you feel bad about it because that is you. That is not in line with your inclination, and you see it and you notice it and you know it, so you feel bad about it. Because to begin with, whatever that seems like, if it's you suggesting that you like that thought, it wasn't you. As I mentioned, it was the broken gadget, the brain. And when it's manifests itself by showing you that mentality, that opinion, you don't like it afterwards because it never was you. It's contradiction to your values. And that's apparent to your awareness. And it's the awareness that feels bad because to begin with, you're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're the awareness. And the awareness had nothing to do with this suggestion of you like the HOCD thoughts. It was the HOCD brain that actually brought about the you like this HOCD thoughts. And the awareness, which is you, feels bad about it because it has been duped to think, oh, that must have been me. No, it's not you. It's the awareness. That's why the contradiction is always clear to you. You don't like it. You know you don't prefer it. And you feel bad about it. All that is because the contradiction is only apparent when there is, the awareness is only there when there's a contradiction. Otherwise, you wouldn't be aware that you're feeling bad. You're aware that you feel bad because there's a contradiction between the values that you have and what the brain has suggested. Yeah, you don't have. These are brain's suggestions. You don't have that attraction. You don't have it. Brain is suggesting that, and you're duped because brain has so much power on the body. It makes body do things that you never wanted it, and it's being influenced by the brain, and then you come up to that conclusion. What that conclusion is wrong. Roger McCartney says, Mayron, you are the king. Roger McCartney, 60. Suffolk, England. I listen to you every week and love your work. Well, thank you very much, Roger. I am delighted that you have a moment and time to join us, and thank you for your kind feedback. I appreciate feedbacks, and I'm delighted that you are enjoying the channel and the program. So let's go back to earlier lineup here. Let's choose a relationship question, if we can find one. Steven says, I think that's a good idea, Mehran. What is a good idea? Oh, the super chat night? Yeah. Yeah, tonight, Friday nights from now on is going to be super chat night. All questions will be answered with super chat. And again, the reason is we are not known on YouTube as much as we have brilliant videos and supportive videos for breakups, emotional hardships, OCD subsets, but we are not reached out. We want to reach more people to help more people around the world, and yet we are not having enough exposure. In order to have that, we need to advertise. To advertise, we need money. And this channel somehow has gotten the reputation that there is no support, financial support for it. And really, when the market was good all the time, so I always advertised and paid out of my pocket because the money was rolling in. When the economy is not good, then we hope the channel itself will produce the support. So we're going to dedicate Friday nights to super chat nights. All questions would be accepting and appreciating super chats so we can have that budget for advertising and advertise and get known more so we can actually reach more people and help more people, because we have thousands and thousands of thank yous and appreciation emails, and someone from somewhere in the world almost every day says, you saved my life. So these are brilliant things and we like to continue, but if there is no exposure, we won't be able to make it in this business, because we will just go, right out of business, because we wouldn't have enough support to continue advertising, getting more exposure, to getting more subscribers. So we'll have more views. So we'll have more funds from YouTube coming to us, from Google coming to us. We don't have that. Why? Because we don't have enough subscribers. Yet our content is second to none. Everybody knows there's about 3,000 videos on this channel, and live streams are pretty much second to none, as I'm sure you would attest to that. So remember, guys, let your friends know Friday nights is super chat nights. Now we have Mohammed says, let's see if I can find a relationship thingy. Muhammad Ansari says, if I'm not my brain, why would I fear for everything? You're not fearing, the brain creating that fear. When there's a malfunction in the brain, overactive amygdala is sending you emotional danger signals when it doesn't exist. It's like in the million years ago, when you were just, a caveman in dinosaur time, when there would be the sound of a twig of a branch breaking, you would take 2 legs you had, borrow 2 more legs, and run like hell. You wouldn't stop to look and see if that sound of a breaking of a twig of a branch was actually because a dinosaur was coming through or not. You will not wait to see if it was a, big white tiger tooth or whatever they call it is running after you. You won't wait to to define or affirm the danger being from an actual dinosaur or wild animal. You would hear the noise, the amygdala will tell you, run like hell, there's a danger coming. And you won't wait to see if there is or not. You will just do it because it has already given you the order to save you, to preserve you, to save you. You know, instinct for survival. But even though there is no dinosaur, even though there is no tiger, even though there is no animal after you, it was just maybe the wind, or just something fell from a tree and broke or sounded like breaking a twig, as if something is approaching. But you don't wait to see and qualify that. You will just run. Same thing here. When you get fearful feelings, you feel for everything, it's not that there is actually a reason to fear. You just have an overactive survival instinct. You will run or become afraid of everything to survive, to protect, preserve yourself. So your reaction is not necessarily in correlation and connected to the truthfulness of the signal. You just react because a signal was given. So the signal was given, there's a danger, and you run in the dinosaur time. But if you wait and look, there is nothing coming. It was just nothing, but you would act regardless. So when you say, if I'm not my brain, why would I fear for everything? You don't have to be your brain, and you're not your brain. In fact, the reason that you are afraid of everything is because brain is not you, you're not the brain, but the brain is sending you the signals for your body to react without asking questions. Because it's everything that the brain sends you, you're supposed to question it to see if it's true or not. That would stop or diminish the reactive time that the body should show in order to save you for survival. So it says, you don't need to investigate, you just need to listen to me. And this is the problem, that we have been accepting the brain as something that is going to send a signal, and we will just allow the body adapt to it and react to it. So we can cut into the time reaction and survive due to our instinct for survival. But that also, we forget that when the brain malfunctions, it sends signals that don't exist. So we constantly have to be running and, jumping from here to there to save ourselves, because constantly sending danger signals that don't exist. That's when the brain is malfunctioning. When the brain is not malfunctioning, we can rely on it and listen to it when it gives us a signal. We abide by it because we have trusted the brain to be functioning properly. That's fine. That's why we use our brain and we rely on it. But when it's malfunctioning, we cannot treat it as a reliable brain and just do what it says, because in that way it can be saying some other things that is not credible at all, and we end up believing it. And when we believe it, then we become fearful because we believed something that the signal that was sent for that something was already wrong, but we believed it. That's when things like OCD and intrusive thoughts and all the other subsets of OCD would have a chance to drive our lives crazy. Why? Because we have relied on a brain and not considering that brain, like any other organ, could actually fall apart and have defective moments and malfunction. And yet we take that secretion of thoughts and suggestion or images at the time of malfunction of the brain as if the brain is still not malfunctioning. And that's why we get confused. What we got to allow to understand that when the brain malfunctions is no more the same as it was when it wasn't malfunctioning. So we cannot accept, and we got to judge it. We have to help it to rewire itself, to bring it to the default setting so we could rely on it again, not just because the brain said so. Well, yeah, you will believe your father or your mother or your teacher when they say 2 + 2 = 4, because that's the teacher. But only if the teacher is healthy. When the same teacher, same name, same person, same echelon as a teacher shows up in the class, but it's got a cold, or it's got a head cold, or it's got a fever, or it's gone berserk, it's gone mental, we can't just say, oh, the teacher's in the class, or whatever he says as before is credible. No longer just because his name is teacher, we should consider him credible. It's a teacher that is sick. So the brain that we always relied on its information to be accurate and helped us to accomplish things and make things easier for us, for our learning or manipulating or calculating or figuring out things, we cannot constantly believe what the brain says when the brain goes into malfunction, just because its name is brain and it's coming from the same source that always send us a reliable information. Now we got to reassess it and say, well, this is still called brain, but it's not healthy. It's got problems. So we got to help it to rewire itself to become the brain that we used to rely on. That's when it's in the OCD glitch or OCD subset glitch, which we should now rely on our awareness and not think that the brain is following our awareness and will be righteous. It is now broken. So we got to consider that. All right. By the way, this is Friday night. We still don't have a super chat, do we? Just saying. So you guys, don't just hear from one ear and stick it out. You want to support this channel? The time is Friday nights. On any live stream, but specifically Friday nights. All right. Sir, Samir Khan, 20, Indian. I have cowardness in everything from my birth due to OCD, and I don't like it. I'm not getting solution for my problem, and I'm suffering from HOCD too. Yeah. It's not your fault. It's the faulty brain. You're going to now help the brain to come to its senses, to its default setting, and you will condition it to behave as you want it to behave. Not a big problem for you. You can do that by the knowledge you have from this channel and using the Dr. Schwartz 4 steps. And you can obviously rewire your brain every time these intrusive thoughts shows up, and stay away from the compulsion of the obsession that you might be having for any of these OCD subsets. And then you reprogram yourself that you will not do the compulsion, because as we talked about it before, every time that you do the compulsion for a obsession, you get an awe moment. Like you have obsession, let's say, to wash your hands, like the obsession that your hands are dirty. So the compulsion is to go wash your hands. And when you do wash your hands, when you do the compulsion for the obsession, you feel, feels good. I'm good now. That at the same time is when you are stimulating the reward center. So the goal finding center was when you would do the compulsion. And the reward center becomes active when you wash your hands and you go, dopamine is secreted. But because dopamine is addictive, if you keep doing it for a long time, no longer you're doing the compulsion, washing hands, for the sake of obsession. You think you are, but you're actually hoping to finish it so you get that the dopamine secretion, because you're now getting addicted to dopamine. So after a while, you're just doing it to get the dopamine. At the same time, every time you did the compulsion, you stimulate the dopamine center, and at the same time, you stimulated the habit center, but you wouldn't realize it. You're just thinking that I'm just doing the compulsion. I feel good now. But that's when you feel good because dopamine has been secreted, because something good has happened. Like you're relaxed about it. You feel good about it. So it gives you a notion of something good is about to happen or something good is happening while you wash your hands. But at the same time, you're stimulating the habit center. So you do that 1,000 times. No longer you're doing the compulsion because of the obsession or to get the dopamine. You think you are, but in fact, you're doing it because it's your habit. You can't stop it. That's when you got to use different tactics to get rid of it. So same thing here. You have created a habit of you being concerned or weak or frightened of everything that could somehow affect your health or your safety because of OCD thoughts, intrusive thoughts. So what you need to do is to learn the 4 steps and change the habit, eventually get the habit reversed to, I'm okay, I'll handle everything. I'll just make a good judgment if this is something I should be doing. If it has good enough chances to be safe, I'll do it. Not that you're going to be stupid, do every goddamn stupid thing, but at least you would be able to say, well, there's a reasonable, chance here that everything is okay. It seems like, a balanced way of doing something, and I learn how to do it, so I do it correctly, so it'll be okay. And little by little, you'll be just as normal as you could be. Not a problem. You won't be fearful of doing anything or results and so on because of that, and that would not limit your lifestyle or accomplishments in life just because you have OCD. So you will reprogram your brain by using the knowledge that is available to you, so no longer you'll be paralyzed by limits of OCD. So, Mama says, my problem is I'm not getting anger like other guys when someone teases me. But I love being higher male, like alpha male, strong, powerful. But I didn't get those qualities from birth. I'm regretting. No, those qualities don't just come from birth. You can learn those qualities. And being angry doesn't mean you're alpha. Alpha doesn't get angry. Anger is not a sign of being alpha. Anger is a sign of not being able to control your situation, meaning your emotions are not in your control when situations are not as you wish it to be. It's not as you prefer it to be. It's not friendly. Anger is a reaction. It's not a mark of being alpha. Many people who are not alpha get angry. But in fact, if you're alpha, you don't get angry so easy because you have things under control. You know you've done things right. You thought them through. You didn't just do things half-assed and hope for the best. You calculated, you studied, you researched, you see how the best way to go about it to bring the best results, and you did what you got to do based on what was information was available. So that's a good judgment. An alpha male is not someone who's an asshole, runs around and barks at everyone. That's not alpha, that's an asshole. So if you want to be an alpha, you got to learn your trade, learn knowledge, and be able to handle things without flying off the handle, and then make good judgments and go from there, and help people and be strong and be have perseverance and persevere in what you want to accomplish in life. That's alpha. Who said alpha is supposed to be mean and rude and asshole? That's what you see in the movies as a character, but that's not an alpha. That's an asshole. What real men have you seen that is actually just angry? Like Sean Connery in James Bond movies. When did you see Sean Connery angry and rude or whatever? He did what he had to do to protect himself and his women and whatever else was under his wing. But he never got angry, but he was an alpha, 100%. So don't use things that you see in the movies as a sign of alpha. Alpha is an attitude. Being a man is a character, not being rude and arrogant and disrespectful and an asshole. That's a donkey. All right. All right. Tukas Kowalski says, how can I help my girlfriend who has very fluctuating moods, ranging from needing affectionate tenderness to being very distant, even hostile? I never know what mood she has on any given day. For the first 2.5 months, everything was perfect, but only now has this started to change. And she's upset that I'm not letting her be who she truly is. It's exhausting for me. Well, first of all, she was this from day one, but she pretended not to be and to be so affectionate and lovey-dovey because she wanted you, and for whatever reason whatever you were offering, whether it was comfort, whether it was your lifestyle, whether it was you're having good sex with her, whatever it was, she was behaving in such a way to please you so she would continue receiving those qualities of yours, whatever it was. Most women do that. They want to become your world. They want you to become your star. They want to become your sun, so you would be revolving around them and you would be the earth. That's why they would become super good and over and above their qualities that they normally have at the beginning of a relationship. They do all kinds of things for you in every way, shape, or form, because they want you to become addicted to them, to be reliant on them, to see them in a light that you can't part with them. A perfect woman. That's exactly what happened. You said for the first 2.5 months, everything was perfect. Well, nothing ever is perfect when everyone is themselves. But they make it perfect because they're aware of the things that they should be doing and they're not doing, so they make sure that they would be doing it. So they become perfect in their eyes and in your eyes, because they know what's about them that is missing. So they would perform it, overperform it, and the first couple of months, as you said, it was perfect because they knew how to become perfect. But their character is not how they had become perfect, is less than that. And in order to grab you, catch your attention, and attract you, they modify themselves with enthusiasm as if that is their real nature, because their desire to have you has taken over and motivates them to endure all the changes and modifications that they make in themselves. And gladly they will do it because they have a goal in mind. But once 2.5 months of them has passed and they've reached down into your heart and they're now holding it in their hand, and you're so addicted and you're used to their behavior and their treatment and their kindness and their warmth and hominess and their ladylike and all that you always wanted, sex and everything, then they get tired of the role. And now that they have seen and have gotten you, they want to release themselves to become themselves. And that's what you cannot get. That's not the girl that I was going out with. What happened here? And you become shocked. And then now it's even worse. It's not just that from one to another. You just say, I don't even know which is which. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Or Dr. Hyde, or Mrs. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde. One of the two. So she may actually be borderline, personality disorder. She could be bipolar. If she's really down like that and up like that and down like that and up, that's a bipolar personality possibly. You might want to, suggest to her carefully, though, to see a psychologist or to see her doctor. Just stay away, one arm and a, front leg away. So in case one is a karate chop, you will be safe. So that is what their actuality is. You never knew them. You fell in love with a character, not with a person who later on, after she feels that she's already gotten you or shown enough of her good side to have made you addicted to her, then she will modify herself back to how it makes her comfortable while she was busy trying to have a role that would make you comfortable in order to catch you. So, on that note, you should know that this is who she always was. Now, if you don't like it, you may simply choose neither this nor that. Just go somewhere else and start over. Stephen says, I've had a few girls at work this week that were happy to see me since I haven't seen them in a while. I think one of them likes me and it feels good. I also no longer want the ex. Oh, thank God. Finally, sun is shining up your ass, I guess. So it kind of lights up your brain from down under, and you can see, oh my goodness, that's how I should be. So you stop liking the ex because you see the light. Kvian says, thank you so much for work that you are doing. You've really helped me out during my darkest time. Well, delighted to hear that, Kvian. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you, and thank you for joining us. Anchor Bora says, sir, how to win against fear and heavy anxiety, fear, any important task? Oh, I just explained. There is really no such thing as fear. Fear is when you compare what it was to what it is to what it could be. It's not, we're not talking about the physical fear of a truck about to hit you or a wild animal is about to run you over. We're talking about psychological fear. And those fears are only when you compare this with this or that. But it was to what it is, what it will be. You're creating the fear. Otherwise, in reality, if there was any danger, you wouldn't be fearing. You'd be busy dealing with the danger. There would be no time for fear. Fear and anxiety only happens when nothing dangerous has happened yet. But you're thinking, what if happens? What should I do? What's the remedy? So as long as you have anxiety and fear, you can be damn sure that you're safe and nothing's bad is happening. Because if it was anything bad happening, you'd be busy dealing with it one way or another. You wouldn't have time to be anxious or angry or whatever, fearful. Roger, we read Roger's message. Thank you again, Roger, for that. Separo says, good morning, Meron. Separo 60 France. Oh, bonsoir, monsieur. Comment ça va ce soir? Says, issue with dwelling in what could have been with a younger woman, but my values and losing what I have worked for 30 years made me make a choice and I ended it. You did well. And Separa says, I will get your books. Okay. Separa says, reprogramming brain stronger than when I was younger. Kind of how long do we have left? I know it is wrong thinking. Oh, it doesn't take long to reprogram your brain. Separa says, you're answering the how just now, I think. Okay. You did the right thing in ending that relationship with a younger girl. I don't know how much younger she was, but if she was like 30 years younger than you, you did the right thing, because by the time you get old, like, I don't know, 20 years from now or 25 years from now, you would have established certain kind of a attachment towards her, because let's face it, in our age, always is a delight to have a fit body of a woman and to be interested in us, and the jubilant nature of the younger generation, it always brings into our hearts as if we are still young, especially if we are mentally young still and physically in shape. So we can't really go around women our own age, because most women our own age, most, not all, they don't take care of themselves and they are no longer fit or comparable to what perhaps we hope to be associated with. And so for that reason, we may be gravitating toward much younger women, especially if they show interest in us, and especially if we're, staying fit and sharp in our fitness level. It would be great sex, and it would be very enjoyable, and that would bring the attachment, and you would not even notice all the shortcomings that the age difference would have between both of you, and you would tolerate it even if you notice it, because the sex is so great. You've kept yourself in shape. You've been going to the gym every day or 4 or 5 nights a week, and you're feeling fit, and mentally you're still young as a boy. When you were like 25 or 30. And so she fits right at home. You feel like, okay, I'm still young again. I got it. The elixir of life is here with me. And that creates an attachment. But lo and behold, if she's 30, by the time she's 50, you're 80. She feels very young and no longer you're either in the same physical shape to have the same great sex with her, nor are you actually that energetic or that much of interest as you have now. And then you would either separate, or she would have had the foothold and have everything you have gathered in your life into her name, or you married her because of happiness and thinking that you found your match. So all of that is fine and dandy as long as you have a prenup with her and you are not allowing that attachment to become so strong that when you're much older and she's still in her 40s or 50s, she feels young and she goes with another guy who's maybe more suitable to her age, while we would be, 85, and that really, it wouldn't be that much of a easy job to be how we used to be. And then she breaks your heart, because at that time when you're 80, 85 and she's 45 or 50, you don't have a chance to find another young girl and you will be very depressed. So having ended it with her, I understand it must have been very difficult, but you're right. It was the right decision and it was a good foresight. All right. So now, and he says, yeah, okay. And Rainbow says, hi, Mehran, female, 38, Los Angeles. It's nice to see you. I have been single for about 4 years. Okay. I try to meet new people, go out to network, and tried online dating, but I have not met anyone, and it's so discouraging when at the end of the day, I want someone that I love and miss the feeling of being wanted and loved. Don't get me wrong, but I'm happy alone, but would be so nice to have a husband and kids eventually, like all my friends. Any advice would be appreciated. Thank you. This whole business of looking at your friends and seeing them married and have children and thinking that the real life is what they have is bullshit. Everyone has their opportunity at one time or another, and they make a decision. And some of us are just not interested in that life, while we think that's the kind of life we should have because everybody else is having it like that. No, you should not rush into it. You should wait until you find the right person that, at least for the time being, you think it's the right person for that what you have in mind as the image you have created for yourself, the kind of family life that you want to have, the kids and a husband and all that. But until you find that actor who would fill that role perfectly, you're not supposed to envy anybody else's lives, like your friends, and think that, because if you keep looking at that, you think, well, it's so easy, then why am I not having? So I must be really lazy or something wrong with me. Your conclusion defeats your whole motivation to bring to fruition that plan that you have. Because you say, well, maybe I'm not worthy to have that kind of life. Why? Because all my friends, look, they have it and I don't have it. That means there's something wrong with me. And if there's something wrong with me, I'm not sure if I should actually pursue to have that kind of life. Because if I was, qualified, I should have had it by now. That's not true. We all have different paths in our life, and we find the ones that we might be feeling comfortable with at a certain time, not any sooner. Not just because we desire our life to be in a certain way as we have pictured it, and therefore the ingredients for that, creating that kind of life, should happen right away. No, it may happen 2 years from now. You may find the man that you're looking for when you're 40. You may find him tomorrow. But comparing to the ones who have found it and thinking what they have found is really what they have been hoping for, it's pretty childish, because you don't know what's going on in the family. They look like they have a wife or husband, or they have children, but they could be miserable. They could be fighting every day, whether it's for money, whether it's for control, whether it's, who's dominant, whether who has bigger ego, who's all that shit, who's more fearful, who's needy more, you don't know that. You only see them all spiffed up and, hello, how are you? Everything good? Kids, go play there now. Oh, gee, I wish I had kids and I would tell them, play adult, and kids, go play there. Watch for yourselves. It's all bullshit. It's all show. You don't know what they're going through to have been able to manage it, get in the car, get there, and the kids are well dressed and so on. They've been probably, have some kind of a fight at home by the time they got out. It was all a stress. So that's not the kind of life you want. So for that reason, you need to wait and be patient and don't compare yourself with other friends. Enjoy your aloneness, believe me. I know what you're talking about. You're happy, you're alone, but you do want someone to love you and someone that you could give love to, because we are in need of both receiving love and giving love. And that's a great feeling. But once you actually have that, once you don't have it, you crave for it. You think, oh, the whole world would be more beautiful when I have somebody to love and give love and come home at the end of the day, just as you said, someone's waiting for me at home, or someone will also arrive at home. We'll have dinner together. These are all beautiful dreams. But once you have it and a year has passed, you actually long for that freedom of time and aloneness, and you don't want to necessarily be near anyone, but you did because it was novel at the beginning. The lovey-dovey, the romance, the sex and all that, and the whole, cooking together, and these are all beautiful. But after a limited time, it's now gone. And nothing is there instead of it, in its place. Why? Because while you guys were so interested in each other, could not bond on consciousness level, once these physical attributes and interests and attachments and desires are actually somehow balanced and normalized, it's nothing so exciting anymore. Then if you haven't bonded on conscious level by then, there is nothing to hold the relationship together. So the key is to find someone that during the courting time, during that romantic time, the physical connection time and excitement, you would be able to actually bond on consciousness level, which when those excitements, physical excitements subdue, its lessons, you would still have created a foundation that would actually promote love and emotion enough to be able to tolerate each other, not necessarily just appreciate each other and compliment each other, but even, let's go to a lower degree, at least tolerate each other. Because if that foundation is not there, you won't be able to even tolerate each other, and you will separate. And you separate, which we all know how it feels when you break up. So, short and long is be patient and enjoy your loneliness. Loneliness meaning being one with the all, alone, one with all. You'll be able to spend your time as you wish, to enjoy everything that there is and be one with the nature, and you're not alone. You're not lonely, you're alone. Alone means one with everything. So it's a good thing. So enjoy that moment and be patient until you find someone that you can see, you can have good physical interactions and connection, and at the same time, you have good mentalities compatible enough to bond on conscious level while you guys are physically excited about each other, And then this physical excitement, when it kind of lessens, as naturally it will, your foundation that you've built based on bonding on conscious level will keep you guys interested and excited, and keeps the love there, which will help to keep the romance there. So steady as she goes, you're fine. But I do understand what you're saying. It's very nice to share with someone when you're ready. It's not easy though. Especially when you have spent enough time and you're good by yourself, and you feel good when you're spending time alone and doing your things, and you're busy and so on. It's kind of an intrusion when somebody comes along. It's very exciting at the beginning, very, very rewarding, but eventually it may feel a little cramped. Unless, as I said, you guys really have the art of communication, an art of bonding on conscious level, and then you build and grow from there. And Steven says, Mehran, I'm angry at times with the way that girl treated me, but I don't want to wish her bad. Sometimes that feeling comes and I let it go. Well, you feel angry at times because of the way that girl treated you. Yeah, but that's not on you. She treated you that way because you allowed it. So you can be angry at yourself. You can't be angry at her, because people take advantage of anybody else if they can. You can't expect for the girl to actually think of you before she thinks of herself. Everybody is in a relationship first and foremost for their own desire. She's not there to make you happy. She's there to make her happy. And in most cases, the same for everybody. Yes, there are men, like perhaps some of us, that would be focused on making our girl happy, making our woman happy, want to serve her. But it has to be a woman who deserves that kind of a treatment. Because most women today, once you treat them that way, they think of you as a weak person, or they think of you as someone that is needy rather than someone that is gracious and strong and wants to protect the woman like the men did in 1,000 years ago as a traditional way of treating women. Making sure she's happy, making sure she has everything, giving enough attention to her, mental, physical, emotional, and provisions for her. And that is a certain trait that some men have, to please their woman, to take care of their woman, to protect their woman. But women today don't show that they actually want that. Maybe in their heart they want it, but politically they're supposed to show that they don't need men and they're strong and they don't need anything and they have to be rough and tough and rude and not feminine and not be proud to be a woman and not to do any women things that makes us men go crazy about them. They all want to have, I don't know, men's clothing. So you have to choose them right to see if it's a woman that worth that kind of a treatment from you. And in the case of yours that treated you the way that you are angry about, well, you allowed her to treat you like that. You were so needy and you were pissing on yourself just to get that need answered. So you weren't really looking at her. Your need treated you the way you are angry about, because you put up with everything only so you will not be denied from that need that you had. The texting, someone coming home once in a while, or once in a while cooking something for you, that need of having that kind of atmosphere made you to put up with every shit that she did. So the person who allowed her to treat you like the way she did is you. You allowed her to be an asshole. You allowed her to go and fuck with somebody else and come back. And you accepted her. Why? Because you weren't thinking about what she did, who she is, what her character is, what she's treating you like. You were focusing on, oh, I will have my need back, which is someone to text to, someone to sleep beside, someone to have sex, and someone to say, to cuddle and say, I have a girlfriend. That was your need. But it wasn't based on qualification of someone that you want to spend your time. It was based on, can this person provide the need that I have? So you're responsible for it. Now, don't be angry at yourself anymore because you learned a lesson. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You made a mistake. Forgive yourself. You did not treat yourself right. And that one, don't expect much from an idiot. Don't even give it the pleasure that she treated you that way. She didn't. She couldn't have if you were having your head out of your ass and not focusing on your need and focusing on her qualification, if it exists there or not. And Rainbow says, true, grass seems greener on the other side. Thank you. You're quite welcome. Thummerman says, can person change his weak personality and be assertive? Of course. How? Just be. Next time you want to be assertive, something you don't want to do, says no. Learn to say no, I don't like that. You don't have to say, no, I don't like that, and get ready to fight. No. So yeah, well, maybe that's good for you, but I don't like it. The reason you're afraid to be like that, because you think if you say that, they may not be your friend anymore. Tomorrow they may not say hello to you. So you have a need. You have a need to be recognized by others. You have a need to be liked by others. You have a need to be recognized by others. You have a need to be part of a group. All these needs are going to betray you because you're going to put up lots of shit and mistreatment just to be part of that things that you just said so you could have your needs fulfilled. Be ready to give up that friendship. Be ready to not be part of that group. Be ready to not be recognized or identified or responded to your hellos, but free yourself by being able to be expressing what is on your mind and how you prefer something to be or not to be. So, just be assertive. Would you like some water? No, thank you. Would you like some water? Yes, sure, I'll have some. You want to go to a movie? Yeah, okay. What movie? Well, I like to see, tigers eating tigers. Oh, no, I'm not interested in that. But you say, yeah, sure, anything they want, just to tag along. No, think about yourself. Think about what it is that you actually prefer. Sep Paro says 14 years younger. You're 60. She was 46. That's not too far. What's wrong with that? Well, you've made that decision you did, but that was actually a good age difference at that age. That was fine. If the age was the only problem, she wasn't that much younger. In 10 years, she would be 55 and she'd be good to be a good companion to you. And in 10 years, you would be just 70. And you would be 75, she'd be 60. Perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. You might have had other reasons, which I'm not privy to. Salio Buddy says, hello, sir. I'm 28 from Minnesota. I have been working, I guess you want to say, 16-hour shifts. Ooh. I've been feeling sad because I'm too hard on myself and I'm caring about what people think too much at work about me. How to stop this? Just don't give a shit. What are you gaining from these people's thoughts about you? What do you have to prove yourself to the others? Once you prove yourself to yourself, and the first thing you want to do is, look, I've got enough money, I can pay the rent, I can pay the food, I can have enough money to go out and pay for a date, or however it is that I might want to spend a little bit extra money on things or this and that, or vacation. Okay, I've got it all down pat. If I budget it right, I can do it. So I don't have to work 16 hours a shift. I work 12 hours a shift, or 10 hours a shift. Or if you feel like, no, 16-hour shift, I got to work that much, well, then eventually you're going to get tired because you don't get enough sleep. 16 hours by the time you get home, it's 17 hours now. And by the time you eat something or get ready to sleep, pretty soon, before you know, it's 18 hours past. And from 18 hours to 24, there's 6 hours. But you probably get up early, and 6 hours sleep is not bad, but it's not a great thing, considering that other things you might want to do, some personal life, you will have no personal life. You'll be angry because you don't have any free time on yourself. You don't even have time to watch a movie of some kind, or go for a tea or coffee with a friend, or go on a date because you're working all the time, maybe not weekend. These are why you're pissed off. And you're caring about what other people think when you're doing the hard damn work. Why do you care about what they think? Do your job as best you can and don't give a shit about what they think. You don't have to be rude about it, but you just don't have to worry about what they think about you. Just don't. See how it goes. Try it. You've been thinking about how people think about you, and you've been worried about it and all that and so forth for a long time. Now, try it for a couple of weeks. Just say, yeah, I don't care. I do what I want to do. What's most comfortable for me, I do that. I do my work as best as I always did. And I don't give a shit who thinks of me. And see how you feel. Just a week. If you felt good, continue. If it didn't, go back to be a sheep that you seem to think you should be. What people think, how they see me, how I perform, how I do my work. Who do you think they are? Who do you think they are? They already lived on this earth once and they know everything, all the ropes. What? They're just another human being that has got their own needs. They got to get up and go to the toilet and clean themselves up and then pay the rent and all that and come out to work. They've got nothing more than you have. So stop trying to impress other people. Impress yourself. If it's good for you, do it. If it's not good, don't do it. And make good judgments. Don't just, think it's a good thing to do. No, think it deep and judge well. All right. So I'll have a sip of my tea. You guys watch this for a bit. I'll warm up my tea. I'll be right back. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.
Well, we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing, again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You're convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, we're back. So what happened since I was gone? I lost 2 people. That's great, wonderful. If I go back a couple of more times, we'll have 0. And I'm thinking about promoting the channels. God damn it, we can't even hold ourselves here. Yeah. But you do agree that we've got content second to none. Now, why is it that we don't see? Not too many people see us, God knows. Maybe the announcements don't go out by YouTube. YouTube never did a good job by really letting my subscribers know that I have a live stream, because it really doesn't make sense. Out of 27,000 almost, when we have a live stream, we have 3 people here, or 7 tonight. It means they don't get the announcements. So anyhow, you guys have any other questions, or I'll just wrap it up? It's 1 hour and 28 minutes. I think it's time for me to just say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.